Yeah, I think there's obviously it's disappointing to lose by nearly 50 points, but obviously we just as a young group we need to be able to maintain what we did in the first quarter for longer, and unfortunately the second and third quarters were pretty poor. We finished off quite well, but there's plenty of positive. We're still a young group. It's just a little bit frustrating that our fundamentals are letting us down, especially our kicking. We're not hitting the nice easy targets, and in turn you turn the footy over and you're chasing backside back the other way. So, which obviously, especially in the second quarter, I think they kicked 6 or 7. They had 14 inside 50s, which was a result of our poor skill execution, and probably our forwards didn't roll back hard enough. So, as always, there's still plenty to work on.
Yeah.
But we as a club pride ourselves on, we still think 80 tackles is a benchmark. If you're having 80 tackles, you're usually in games of footy, and I think we only had 7 or 8, so it was a poor effort from our group. And they didn't respond straight away, but they got better in the second half towards the back end of the game.
Yeah, so you talk about that and kicking accuracy. What is it that really needs to? Is it just practice on the track, or what's the go there?
Yeah, I think so. They've got to apply themselves more consistently. Like, we've got some outstanding leaders in McCulloch, Charlton, Hugh Williams, Sam Darley. So they've got good guys there that they can follow how they train and how they prepare. So I just said to them after the game, for the next 2 weeks, you've got 2 weeks to prepare for the Tigers to do absolutely everything possible. So you don't have these basic skill execution errors. So, we'll put things in place as a coaching group to assist them in that, but we've just got to make sure there's some consistency in the effort at training, which obviously transfers to the game.
Obviously had a couple of big matchups today in Harper and Seymour. Obviously I went into half time as well, and there's a big sort of emphasis on you applying a bit more pressure on that.
Yeah, Seymour probably has been nearly the form midfielder of the comp in recent weeks, so we went head to head with Sam Darley, and I thought probably Sam had the better of that, especially in the first half. We changed things up a little bit in the second half. Joby Harper's just been an exceptional player. It's good to see him back playing some good consistent footy. So also thought though Jake Hines in his first game for Lonnie this year was exceptional as well. So he probably got off the chain a little bit too much, but you can't stop them all. So I thought our mids, obviously with Huey being in the ruck against Leedham, you're always going to lose the tap. So the stoppages weren't too bad. I just think someone like Hines probably hurt us a bit more than we would have anticipated.
So ideally, where would you like Sam playing? Obviously, he's probably like a couple of them, but if you obviously if you tag it, was it
No. So Sam's been head to head with Cox Goodyear, Sam Siggins. Just you've got to try and stop the opposition's better players, and Sam, he's, even though he gets a lot of footy, he sacrifices his own game for the benefit of the club. So, to be honest, I'd love to play Sam off half back. Just think the way footy is now, you can set the team up well from there. So, but at the moment, where we're at, I've got to play him on ball with Jaden and Nathan, and we're trying to get a bit more exposure for a few younger guys through there. So we'll continue to do so to get the right mix through the midfield.
Yeah, obviously, I think it was your fullback, was it
Bailey Walker.
Yeah, he looked like he probably hurt.
Yeah, so he may have, it's a calf, so he may have, it's a grade 1 or 2, so you'd think he'd probably miss a month. We only played twice in June, so he's obviously a little bit upset, but it looked a lot worse.
Yeah, I thought he was quite good for you.
He's a very good player, and I personally would love to have seen him get a crack at the state under 25s, but unfortunately he's missed the cut there. But I just think the last month of footy he's been outstanding, and he's only 19, and he's playing with Mitch Thorpe, who's obviously been a gun forward in state footy for a long time, and Bailey, he competes so hard. He ran off Thorpe once, kicked a goal, so Bailey's disappointed, but we should have him back sort of Clarence game, I would have thought.
Yeah, and you talked about before to me that you had 7 Devils, and you probably think they're probably 7 of you probably more emerging, better players. So obviously with the Devils now coming in, do you think that's a plus, or do you think it might sort of stunt your sort of progress?
No, not at all. It's definitely a plus. We endorse our guys in that program, and obviously they have the bye in a couple of weeks, so it'd be great to see those guys get filtered back through our club, and they love playing for our footy club. They're always there at training on a Thursday night when they're not available to play, but they're still at the game. So I'm excited to get those guys back into our side against the Tigers. So yeah, we're really excited, and unfortunately that'll make some guys have to miss out, but that's just the nature of the footy. So can't wait to get him back in a couple of weeks.
And when can you expect Colin back?
He's a chance for the Tigers, so he did some 200s on Thursday night. So hopefully that can pose some problems for Trent in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah, obviously a few of the boys seemed a little bit frustrated with a couple of decisions, and I was sitting near the bench and they looked like there was a bit of frustration as to a couple of inconsistencies of the decisions.
I think the hardest thing is, as a coach, we think we understand the game reasonably well. To have a free kick paid against you 50 metres for someone in the crowd, that doesn't sit that well with me. So hopefully, as a coach, I can catch up with them just to understand some of the interpretations, because we are trying to teach these guys how to play footy and play it the right way, and just some of the free kicks that are being paid, we're not quite sure why they're for. So just some clarification, and obviously really disappointed free kicks paid against you from someone in the crowd. I mean, we're playing state footy, it's just doesn't sit that well with me.
40 odd point win, Mitch. What do you take out from that game?
Not a lot other than the win, to be honest. Slow start, slow finish. We did enough in the middle of the game to put a nice gap in it, but we're a fair way off the mark.
Yeah. What was it, that first quarter? I thought North Hobart probably really brought a lot of pressure to you.
Yeah.
Probably nearly could have been a couple more goals up.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely. Their pressure was first class, and we overused the ball by hand and Cofton turned the ball up in parts of the ground that we then couldn't defend. So full credit to North Hobart. We knew they would come out with pep in their step, and we weren't ready for that. I suppose the underlying pleasing part of it is that we still win by a decent margin. We have 5 changes this week, another debutant, and we now ahead of the ledger by way of 5 wins and 4 losses. So it's just a fine line. We're just frustrated with our skill level today. We're a fair way off the mark with how we use the ball, and that's no one else's issue other than ours.
Yeah, obviously gave Jake Hines back today.
Yep.
Pretty good ball user, and got forward a few times, kicked a goal.
Yep.
How important is it for him to sort of get back into your side?
I think he found his way. I thought his younger brother actually played really well as well in his debut game, Jaden Hines. I thought he was in our best 3 players. So we had 5 changes from last week, and any time you make that amount of changes, the synergy just changes a little bit. We had some connection issues today that we didn't have over the last month. But I said we're going to the bye now, ahead of the ledger. 5 wins and 4 losses from our last 6 or 7 games have been pretty strong. So we've got a few sore boys at the moment that need the bye.
Yeah. Obviously, I think Jay he got forward again, kicked a couple of goals.
Yeah.
Do you think he's really building back to some of that better form? Probably back in his South Lonnie days.
Yeah, absolutely. We swung him forward in the second quarter, and I thought he really turned the game for us by way of kicking in the ball inside 50, hitting the scoreboard himself. He kicked 3 for the day. I think the most pleasing thing about our performance today is we had 10 individual goal kickers. We weren't reliant on any one forward to kick a bag of goals. We shared the load, and so that's a really big positive. And we've certainly been working on that, not just having one avenue to goal. So to have Jay bob up and kick 3 as a small forward is really positive.
Yeah. And Fletcher again today. How do you think he's going?
Yeah, I'll obviously put some work into Fletcher today, which is probably the first time this year. He still had north of 25 possessions, but probably wasn't quite as effective as he has been. But Jack Donnellan and Miller Hodge were probably our best 2 players for the game. They worked really hard to win the ball and then take some metres and get the ball going our way. So the good thing about someone going to Fletch is that someone like Jack Donnellan can get off the chain a little bit. I thought Joby Harper was really strong as well.
And obviously yourself kicked a couple of goals, a couple of set shots seems to be working pretty well for you this year. So.
Yeah. I mean, as I said, we've multiple goal kickers. I only kicked 3, which is all hopefully I need to do by way of having a forward line that functions and has multiple goal kickers. Thought Grant Holt was really dangerous around goal again. Had some shots on goal. James Gillow kicked 2. So all our little forwards got busy when we started being a bit more predictable with how we moved it forward.
Yeah, and I think you had only 2 on the bench there towards the second half. What were those injuries?
Yeah, we had and I mean that's probably why we finished a bit slower, that we just couldn't rotate as much as we liked. Ethan Conway's gone to hospital with a head jaw knock. I'm not exactly sure. There was a bit of word that he lost a few teeth, so we'll just have to follow up on that one. And it escapes me who the other one. There was someone else that didn't. Ryan Tyrrell didn't come back on, but that was, I think, was more precautionary than anything. He's been pretty sore for a few weeks now, and now we're going to the bye. We can freshen these guys up a little bit.
Awesome, mate. Thanks for that.
Thanks very much, guys.